You put in the time, you run the campaigns, you try every recommended tactic, but somehow, instead of gaining clarity, you find yourself drowning in an endless cycle of busy work, unclear on which efforts actually drive your results. When we hit this level of overwhelm, the common instinct is to search for a new strategy to fix it. But regaining control requires the opposite approach. You have to build a filter and aggressively remove the noise. In this tutorial, we will take your cluttered task list, boil it down into 3 core operating principles, and build a protected daily routine to keep future distractions out. To prepare for this exercise, you will need 3 things in front of you. Pull up your marketing task list, open a blank document, and load your calendar app. Overcoming strategic overwhelm is a strict process of distillation. This exercise moves beyond organizing your schedule. It is the physical subtraction of tasks that fail to move your metrics. Look at this spreadsheet. It represents a typical overcrowded marketing plan. Take a look at your own task list right now. It likely contains a similar, confusing web of tactics. We need to audit this list to identify the noise. First, look for tactics that add complexity without improving outcomes. Then, flag the tasks that look impressive on the surface, but consistently fail to deliver the results they promised. Next, highlight the items that keep you busy, but generate 0 measurable progress. Finally, tag any tasks that are actively making it harder to identify which parts of your strategy are actually working. Author Greg McKeown identifies the cause of this clutter: success. When you focus and succeed, it breeds so many new opportunities and options that it eventually diffuses the very focus that made you successful in the first place. Actively identifying and tagging this low-value noise is the crucial first step to stopping the undisciplined pursuit of more. Now comes the purge. This phase will trigger a fear of missing out, but to make this work, you must be honest about where your effort is going to waste. Apply this first filter to your list. Look at your highlighted tasks and ask yourself, what actually moved the needle? Then ask the second interrogating question, what was just activity? Which of these tasks drained your energy but left the business where it started? Finally, ask yourself what you can remove that doesn't matter. Find those items you've categorized as mere activity and physically hit delete. Deleting ineffective work is a necessary sacrifice. You clear out the mediocre so you can execute your vital tasks with high quality. This visual illustrates how we process our actions. If you simply collect every tactic you try, you end up with a murky, unfiltered collection of stories. But when you actively strip away the failures, you filter that raw experience into core principles. These principles hold their value under pressure because they represent the refined results of what actually works. They simplify your choices during uncertain moments by providing a reliable foundation you can trust. Here is what that translation looks like. On the left is a noisy tactic. Post 3 times a day on every social platform. On the right, that refines into a single principle. Only show up where the audience pays attention. Kay Krill, the CEO of the Ann Taylor brand, used this approach to manage her time. She avoided wasted days by learning how to push back gracefully but unapologetically on non-essential commitments. Look back at the few items that survived your spreadsheet purge. Write down 3 core operating principles derived directly from those specific successes. These principles provide a reliable framework for navigating future uncertainties, removing the need to rely on the memory of past complex tactics. Now we move to maintenance. Open your calendar app. We need to build a platform for execution so you don't slide back into tactical noise. In an information-rich environment, your ability to figure out what matters is not broken. What is missing is the physical space and the time required to think and process that information. We fix this by building a routine. Block out 2 uninterrupted hours every day on your calendar. Break those hours into distinct half-hour segments and label them space to think. These blocks require strict operating rules. When this time hits, all regular work stops and notifications go off. Your focus shifts entirely toward the bigger picture. Dedicating this daily protected time to process information acts as a filter against the inevitable creep of new tactical noise. Review the shift you've made. You have moved from an overwhelming list of noise to 3 sharp principles backed by a protected calendar. This framework builds a calm confidence. You operate from the clarity of knowing exactly what to ignore. Scalable professional growth requires shifting your mindset. You must stop asking, "What should I add next?" and master the art of subtraction. Here is your final challenge. Starting tomorrow, honor your new 30-minute calendar blocks. Protect that time and actively use it to say no to non-essential requests. Time and activity alone do not create insight. Experience compounds into repeatable results when it is continuously and ruthlessly refined.